Okay, everyone, we're going to get started. It's Gord Smith here. Couple logistical things before we get started. We're going to have a question and answer period at the end, so you can either, obviously chime in. We'll take everyone off mute, and you can ask the question, or alternately, you can enter it online. And then secondly, we're going to mute the phones while we're presenting, just to avoid any unnecessary background noise. So. We won't be able to hear you during the presentation, but you can, again, just enter a question online. By way of introduction, Gord Smith. I'm a partner at Ideaca. I've been here about 4 years, responsible for sales and operations in our eastern region and also national marketing. I also spent some time at Deloitte and also spent some time at SAP, Siebel, and NCR in kind of high-tech marketing. So my experience is across professional services with high-tech firms, with the Big Five, and now with a mid-sized consultancy. I'll let James spend a minute and introduce himself.
Thanks, Gord. My name is James Gurney. I'm a director at Ideaca. A similar background to Gord, so spent close to 15 years between PricewaterhouseCoopers, IBM, and now Ideaca. Sort of involved heavily in running consulting practices and managing resources. So, intimately understand some of the challenges we're going to talk to you about today and some of, the opportunities you have to address those.
Okay, here's the agenda for today. I'm going to talk very briefly, give an introduction to Ideaca, and then I'm going to talk a little bit about best practices and strategies for resource management and some of the issues in integrating sales and delivery with a specific focus around resource management. And then I'll turn it over to James for the second half and the majority of the presentation. He'll talk a little bit about the different scenarios around resource management and opportunities for integration with professional services automation. So that's basically the agenda. Kind of quick overview of Ideaca, background. We're a professional services firm. We've been in business for over 10 years, 350 clients. We have 175 staff across Canada, Calgary, Edmonton, Toronto. There's really three things that we do. We do advisory services, so business case, benefits realization, process design, system selection. We have a suite of implementation services, and these are some of the areas: ERP, CRM, business intelligence, custom development, portals and collaboration. And then we have support services to assist clients once they've gone live with application support. We do have a focus on the professional services industry, and our experience is very broad. So we've worked with engineering firms, we've worked with IT services firms, we've worked with publishing firms, we've worked with legal firms and accounting firms, and this is a sampling of some of our clients. And there's really kind of a few core things that we help clients with in the professional services space. One would relate to CRM initiatives, so there's a lot of focus on improving sales and business development across all of these industries. So we've done a lot of work around sales automation and marketing automation. We've done work with professional services automation, so time entry, billing, resource management, financial management, which is largely the subject of today's discussion. And we've done work with business intelligence and professional services dashboards, so providing information about the health of projects and the overall business. And then we've done a fair amount of work in the knowledge management area, building portals and collaboration that help with the knowledge around professional services. So these are some of the examples. We did CRM at Descartes and Allstream. Soberman is an accounting firm in Toronto where we did professional services application solution, and also at Mentor Engineering. We've done knowledge management solutions at Stantec, Rivera, and also Stikeman Elliott. So that gives you a sampling of some of the work that we do. What I'm going to focus in on now is a discussion as to what leaders are doing. And when we talk about leaders, we're really referring to what are the practices of the firms that are most profitable in professional services. And The list here is supported by a couple of things. One is Microsoft does a biannual global review of their systems integrators and their value-added resellers, and they identify the leading practices and of the firms that are most profitable. And so we've taken into consideration some of those practices. We've taken into consideration some of the practices identified by a research firm, SPI, that does an annual survey of professional services firms, and their survey is quite broad in nature. They survey architecture, engineering, construction, IT services, legal, management, consulting, and IT services. It's a broad survey. And then, of course, we've interjected some of our own experience as to what are leaders doing to drive profitability. So I'll quickly kind of run through them. First and foremost, the most profitable firms have sound leadership, and that leadership really focuses relentlessly on customer and employee satisfaction. And the staff have a deep trust and respect for their leaders, and so that helps with on the retention side. And they also drive a clear accountability into the various parts of the organization as required. And as part of that, and kind of related to it, the most profitable firms have a clear, committed strategy. So the staff, if they're a partnership, the partners, the senior leadership, have a clear understanding of what the firm will do and what they won't do. So that would relate to projects, it would relate to opportunities and pursuits. So which are good and which ones are not in their sweet spot or core to them. One of the things in virtually every professional services survey that we've seen is a pervasive theme would be the relationship between a focus on vertical industries and business process and profitability. So the more, the most profitable firms have a clear industry or business domain expertise. So it could be, they have a strong focus on the retail market, a strong focus on the oil and gas market, or it could be that they're project management experts, or that they're financial experts, or that they're supply chain experts. But that is a key driver of profitability, and it drives it from the perspective of win rate. They tend to have a better, more effective win rate and better utilization of resources in the sales process, which drives profitability. Another theme around profitability of leaders is the use of subcontractors and partners, and there's often a big debate in professional services around the extent to use of subcontractors and partners. And from the SPI survey, the most profitable firms actually use subcontractors more, but they treat them like partners. So they have a very deep relationship. They share their methodology. They have very good profiles as to who they are and what they do, and they're an integral part of their business. The next area is around IT, and this is some survey data from SPI. The overarching professional services leaders in terms of profitability spend about 3% of revenue on IT, and the firms that aren't producing the same level of profitability, it's about 1.9%. And here you see some key performance indicators and how those relate to professional services firms that don't have a CRM or PSA application, firms that have a PSA and CRM application but it's not integrated, and those that have an integrated CRM and PSA application. So you can see kind of dramatic improvements in bid-to-win ratio, percentage of annual revenue from proposal development increases. The process of developing solutions is better, and margins, billable revenue per consultant, and utilization all tend to increase with firms that had those applications prevalent and increasingly when they were integrated. The next area would be, kind of the overall orientation of the firm, looking at profit as an outcome, not as much as a target. So this relates to the leadership being really relentlessly focused on customer employee satisfaction, and also around referenceability and referrals in their clients. So doing really good work, making themselves referenceable, more referrals, higher win rate, lower cost of sales. And so it's not about kind of setting the annual profit target, it's more about doing the right things and the profit will come. Also, big emphasis on people in the most profitable firms. The themes here are increased levels of training, sophisticated performance management process, lower turnover, career development. All those things lead to higher levels of employee satisfaction, and with less turnover, obviously the profits increase. The leaders in terms of profitability definitely invested heavily in their delivery methodologies. They institutionalized them in their firm. There was lots of opportunities for people to develop those methodologies, and it was core part of their delivery process. Focus on client relationships to win new business. So again, back to the theme of taking very good care of their clients, making them highly referenceable. Good relationships helps with referrals and references, and therefore lowering the cost of sales. And then finally, aligning sales and delivery, and that's really a theme today. That's about removing the silos between those two organizations and having some level of integration to improve the overall profitability of the firm. And I think we're going to talk quite a bit about that one as well today. So that's kind of an overview of what leaders are doing.